On this video, we're going to learn how to calculate arc length. So the circumference of a circle is the length around the entire circle. Since an arc is a portion of the circle, the length of an arc is simply a fraction of the circle's circumference. When the measure of an arc is given in degrees, we can find the length of the arc as follows. So just again, keep that in mind. Circumference is all the way around. Well, if I want to know just a part of it, just this piece, it's going to be a fraction of the whole thing. It's just going to be a part of it, right? So the length of the arc is going to be equal to the measure of the arc, the degree measure of the arc divided by 360. That's the fraction, right? That's the part of the whole circle we want. And then we're going to multiply that by the circumference, okay? Which is 2 times pi times r. If they give you a diameter, it could just be diameter times pi. Because remember, diameter is 2r. Okay, it's 2 radii. So if we look at the problem they gave us here on ALEKS, the circle below has center C, and its radius is 7 yards. So they didn't label that. They just told us that it was 7 yards for the radius. And we're given that the measure of angle DCE. So DCE is 100 degrees. Find the length of the major arc DFE. So they don't want to know the minor arc. They actually want to know the length of this major arc back here. Give an exact answer in terms of pi, and be sure to include the correct unit in your answer. So they actually don't want us to use 3.1 for pi or even type pi into our calculator. Pi is going to be part of our answer. We're just going to leave it pi. Okay. And because they're saying be sure to include the correct unit in your answer, you're going to have to click on the correct one. And we can even ahead of time think about this. Because we're looking for a length, it's just going to be yards, not yards squared or yards cubed, just yards. It's just a length. So let's go ahead and kind of look at the diagram here and see what we can figure out. So first of all, I need to know what the measure of the arc is, right? I need to know what this measure is in order to use this formula. So if we go back and we think about what do we know about a central angle, because this C is the center and I have this angle coming off of it. So I know that this arc is 100 degrees because it's the exact same as its central angle. So now if I want to know what the other arc is, I just need to know what's left over of the 360 degrees. So if I subtract the 100 from the 360, I'll see that this arc is 260 degrees, which is the same as this angle here. This is a 260 degree angle, like on the kind of back side here. It's all 260 degrees. So now I know my angle, or my diagonal. Geez Louise. All right, now I know my degree measure. It's 260 degrees. So I can use this formula. So I have the length equals the degree of the arc divided by 360 degrees. And I'm going to multiply that by the circumference, which is 2 pi r. So I'm going to replace. So I have 260 over the 360. This will give me my fraction, right? This is my part of the circle. I don't want the whole circumference, just the blue part here. And then I'm going to multiply that by 2 pi and 7, because it's 2 times pi times r, and 7 was our radius, right? That's why I replaced r with 7. All right, so let's go ahead and divide this. So 260 divided by 360 can reduce down to 13/18. So you could turn this into a decimal also. That would be perfectly fine. I just reduced it as much as I could. So, if I eliminate the zeros there, then I can divide by 2 on both of these. 26 divided by 2 is 13. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Because getting rid of the zeros is like dividing by 100 for both. Okay? Or, sorry, 10. Losing my mind. Dividing by 10 for both. And then you can also see this changed to 14 pi because I did 2 times 7 and I got 14. Remember, they want me to leave my answer in terms of pi. So I'm going to leave pi there. I'm not going to multiply by pi. It's just going to be almost like a variable stuck on there. So now that I have my fraction and I have this simplified, I'm going to multiply across the top. So 13 times 14, and then I'll divide by 18. So 13 times 14 is 182. And then I have pi up here because I also brought the pi with the 14. And then divided by 18. Now I can reduce. So if I reduce all the way down, I'll end up with a repeating decimal. And since they want exact answers, I don't want to do any rounding. So I'm going to leave it 91 and 9. So all I did was divide by 2 again. 182 divided by 2 is 91. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So I end up with 91 pi over 9. So don't forget at this point to include your correct unit. If you didn't end up clicking on yards and you tried to submit your answer, you would get it wrong. You haven't told them 91 pi divided by 9 what? It's yards in this case. All right, so this is arc length, and I hope that helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.